Desperate for answers, the team gathered at dusk, the heavy silence of the Sally house pressing against them as they assembled in the parlor. Shadows crept along the peeling wallpaper, and the musty air was tinged with anticipation and dread. On the worn oak table, 4 candles flickered in a perfect circle, their flames dancing to an ominous rhythm. The researchers took their seats, hands trembling as they linked fingers, forming a living chain around the table. Each member had come prepared. EMF meters blinked restlessly beside the candles, camcorders whirred quietly, and a digital recorder sat primed to capture even the faintest whisper from beyond. For months, reports of unexplained phenomena had circulated through Atchison, Kansas. Voices in empty rooms, bruises that appeared overnight, objects moving on their own. But in the summer of 1993, the urgency to uncover the truth inside the Sally house reached its peak. The team, comprised of seasoned mediums, a parapsychologist, and a technical specialist, hoped to pierce the veil between worlds and finally resolve the mystery that had made the house infamous. They began with a simple invocation, voices steady but taut with anxiety. The room seemed to contract around them, thickening with each passing second. The EMF meters flashed, needles jittering even before the questions started. The first queries were gentle, respectful. "If there's anyone here with us, can you give us a sign?" "A sign?" A hush followed, broken only by the faint hum of camera equipment. The air grew colder, and one of the candles guttered, its flame shrinking as if pressed by invisible fingers. The team exchanged uneasy glances, but pressed on. "Are you Sally? Are you hurt? Do you want to speak?" "Why? Steed." Suddenly, the digital recorder crackled with static, and a small, plaintive voice echoed through the room. It was unmistakably a child, soft, breathless, and tinged with sorrow. Those present would later describe it as hauntingly innocent, a voice that seemed to plead for comfort, or perhaps forgiveness. The mediums leaned in, eyes closed, hands tightening in the circle. "What is your name?" "Masini," one asked softly, but before the girl could answer, something changed. The temperature dropped abruptly, each breath now visible in the air, curling like smoke. The EMF meters spiked, lights pulsing in frantic succession. A low vibration trembled through the table, rattling the candle holders and making the flames leap. Then, chaos descended. The camcorder feed warped, static lines dancing across the screen. One medium gasped, clutching her chest as if struck by an unseen force. Another's head snapped back, mouth opening in a silent scream before she collapsed sideways, slumping unconscious to the floor. Panic surged in the room, but a third member remained frozen, eyes wide, locked on the center of the table. From the digital recorder, an unnatural voice emerged, deeper, harsher, speaking a language unfamiliar to all but one. The parapsychologist recognized the cadence. Latin, ancient and chilling. "Abiit sed non mortuus est." He is gone but not dead. The words reverberated through the room, heavy with a meaning none dared to contemplate. For a moment, the air seemed to press down on their chests, making it hard to breathe. The candles flickered and then, one by one, snuffed out, plunging the parlor into darkness. The séance was over, but its consequences had only just begun. In the days that followed, the group unraveled. The medium who fainted refused to return. Her sleep plagued by nightmares she refused to share. Another, the one who had screamed, abandoned the project entirely, leaving behind only a brief message. Never to speak publicly of what happened that night. The parapsychologist, shaken by the Latin phrase echoing in his mind, withdrew from the public eye, declining interviews, never explaining what he believed they had encountered. But the fourth, the technical specialist, couldn't let it go. He pored over the footage, obsessed with decoding the anomalies. He stayed behind in the Sally house, determined to find answers. 3 days later, he vanished. No trace was ever found. No note, no evidence, just a silence deeper than any the house had known before. News of the séance spread rapidly, drawing the attention of paranormal enthusiasts and skeptics alike. Some dismissed the events as hysteria or clever fabrication, But the evidence told a different story. The camcorder footage, though riddled with static, captured the moment the candles extinguished themselves. The digital recorder, when played back, revealed the chilling Latin phrase, spoken in a voice none of the team recognized. More disturbing were the physical effects felt by those who visited in the aftermath. Visitors described a crushing heaviness in their chests, sudden waves of dizziness, and the persistent feeling of being watched. EMF meters, brought in by subsequent investigators, registered erratic bursts of activity, even in rooms thought to be empty. Some reported seeing shadows dart along the walls, or feeling icy fingers brush their skin. In June 2025, the legacy of that seance drew L&M Paranormal to the Sally House once again. Offering the public a chance to explore its haunted halls, the team conducted late-night ghost hunts, inviting participants to bring their own equipment and courage. Many left with stories of their own, some lighthearted, others deeply unsettling. Objects moved when no one was near. Batteries drained inexplicably. The air, participants said, seemed to vibrate with unseen energy. Yet, for all the evidence collected, video, audio, physical sensations, no one could say with certainty what lurked within the walls of the Sally house. Was it truly the spirit of a young girl, Sally, desperate to communicate? Or was there something older, darker, using her legend as a mask to hide its true intentions? The house's reputation only grew, fueled by media attention and public fascination. Episodes of ghost adventures and a haunting brought national attention, showcasing the house's penchant for unexplained occurrences. Electrical malfunctions, temperature fluctuations, and the unmistakable feeling of a presence watching from the shadows became the norm for anyone brave enough to step inside. Skeptics continued to debate, searching for rational explanations. Some suggested environmental factors, old wiring, drafts, the power of suggestion. But those who had been present during the seance, and those who investigated in its wake, knew that the truth was not so easily dismissed. They spoke of a darkness that seemed to linger, a sense that something had been awakened that night, something that had been waiting beneath the surface, content to let the story of Sally distract from its own existence. The Latin phrase, "He is gone but not dead," became a whispered warning among those who studied the paranormal. Was it a reference to a previous inhabitant, a restless spirit denied peace? Or was it a message for the living, a reminder that the forces at play were far from finished? As years passed, the house refused to surrender its secrets. Paranormal researchers from across the country flocked to Atchison, each hoping to capture new evidence, each leaving with more questions than answers. Some reported being scratched or pushed. Others described hearing voices that didn't sound quite human. The house, it seemed, adapted to its visitors, revealing only what it wanted, when it wanted. For the people of Atchison, the Sally House became a symbol, a place where the line between the known and unknown blurred. Local residents spoke in hushed tones about the night of the seance, cautioning outsiders to respect the house and its history. For some, it was a curiosity, a way to attract visitors and attention. For others, it was a wound that never quite healed. The story of the seance, with its chaos and aftermath, became a defining chapter in the house's long and troubled history. It was a night that changed the course of the investigation, scattering the team and leaving a void that has never been filled. The missing researcher's fate remains a mystery, his disappearance a cautionary tale for those who would seek to uncover the house's secrets. Yet the house endures, its walls absorbing every whispered prayer, every frightened gasp, every question left unanswered. The candles that once flickered in the seance are long gone, but their light lingers in memory, casting shadows that stretch into the present. Every investigation, every late-night vigil, every trembling hand on an EMF meter adds another layer to the story. The house feeds on curiosity, on fear, on the very human need to understand what lies beyond. But as the seance proved, sometimes the answers we seek are far more dangerous than the questions themselves. The legacy of that night continues to shape the Sally House's reputation. Visitors still report strange sensations, pressure on their chests, nausea, sudden chills that have nothing to do with the weather. Equipment misbehaves, cameras fail, and audio devices capture voices that shouldn't be there. Some investigators come seeking proof of life after death. Others, perhaps more wisely, come simply to observe, to listen, to witness without provoking. All leave changed in some way, touched by the house's peculiar energy. The question remains, was it truly Sally they reached that night? Or was it something far older, cloaked in the innocence of a child's voice, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself? The haunting of the Sally house is not static. It evolves with every encounter, every attempt to bridge the gap between worlds. The house resists easy answers, defying explanation and demanding respect. Those who enter must be prepared to confront not just the spirits of the past, but the darkness that waits, patient and hungry, beneath the surface. The seance experiment stands as a warning, a reminder that curiosity can open doors that are not easily closed. The team that gathered that night sought understanding, but found only chaos and loss. Their experience is etched into the fabric of the house, a chapter in a story that refuses to end. As long as the Sally house stands, as long as people seek to understand the unknown, its secrets will endure. The candles may have gone out, but the darkness remains, watchful and waiting. For some, the house is a fascination, a puzzle to be solved. For others, it is a place to be feared, avoided, left alone. And for those who remember the seance, the memory is a weight carried in silence, a burden of knowledge, and a warning for all who would follow. The house waits, the shadows lengthen, and the question lingers, unanswered. Was it truly Sally they reached? Or something that's been waiting beneath her name?